program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor.
Hello and welcome everyone to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Ruth Ellen Sanchez and I'm going to be your host today. And today we have a very special guest, Dr. Richard Renton, who is going to be talking about men's health, since it's Men's Health Month, the prostate, and also talking about a new product that YGY has, which is on a hot topic, which I'm not going to disclose. So I'm going to let him disclose that. Also, this program is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any diseases, nor is it meant to take the place of your primary care physician. Any testimonials given are given as personal experiences of the giver. And this is also a show that helps give you options on how to care for yourself and let your body do what God intended it to do and heal itself naturally on its own with food and exercise and other things. So, also, this program is sponsored by dailywithdocandbecca.com or dailywithdoc.com. I'm sorry, dailywithdoc.com. And if somebody referred you to this program, please get back with that person. And I am going to bring Richard on with me now, and we are going to get going. Hello, Richard.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good, good. It's sunshiny here. It's going to be in the high 70s or low 80s, and the rain won't start till tomorrow.
Excellent. That's good.
So do you just want me to take off or?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So YGY has introduced a new product, and we'll talk about it first. And I think it's one that we needed because we had a product like it. And this product's designed to kill parasites in your body. And people didn't take it because it didn't taste very good. And it was on the good herbs family, and it was effective, but people weren't taking it. And so we came it out, and it's called ParaClear, PARACLARE. And sorry, my screen just went wacko on me. And it's got some pluses, but basically I kind of want to talk about how to use it first, and we'll talk about the ingredients. And people thought I was crazy, and Joanne Conaway, Dr. Joanne Conaway, we did a audio cassette tape when they had those things, and CDs after that. And we talked about how if you want to kill parasites, the best way to do it is at full moon. And people thought we were crazy that they would say that our product worked better as a full moon. And that really wasn't the case. But what is the case is that parasites are more active in your body during the full moon. So if you aggressively wanted to go after them, you start the program about 5 days before a full moon, and you go to about 5 days after a full moon. And then you want to do that at least 2 cycles in a row. Because the parasites could have laid eggs, and during that period of time in between the 2 cycles, they may be infiltrated into your body again. And so you kind of have to do 2 cycles in the row. And so the best way to do it is follow the instructions. I think it's 1 pill or 2 pills a day. and you want to do that and start what? Full moons in about 10 days. So you want to start in about 5 days and then go through the full moon and 5 more, and then rest for about 20 and then repeat the cycle. And that's the best way to do it because the parasites are more active in your body, so they're more willing to absorb the nutrients that are in it that will want them to either leave or die. And some of those nutrients are zinc and copper. They don't like those two minerals in particular, but it also has black walnut, wormwood. I have trouble with that. Clover, buds, and garlic. They hate all those. If you think you have just parasites in general, if you start eating garlic every day, either by supplement or more in your food, that will work. I don't recommend you grind up your walnut shells and eat black walnuts, which is in it, because that's kind of hard on your digestive system. So doing it via a dietary supplement seems to work more effectively. And you can travel with this because one of the big things is people will pick up parasites because their body's not used to it and they go to a foreign country and then hoo-ha. And it doesn't make any difference whether it's a person in the United States going to, I'm just going to pick a country out, I'll just say somewhere in Africa, or vice versa. Both are vulnerable because we haven't built up these immune systems in the various countries. So it's kind of a smart product to travel with as well. But the most common way to get a parasite in the United States, maybe South Africa is a little bit different, but in America, is that we allow our pets to kiss us in the face. And most dogs and cats have parasites. You can treat them, that's fine, but they're going to have it. And when they'll transfer it during that sign of affection. And so that's the easiest way to do it. So first of all, I'll tell you, don't let your dogs and cats kiss you in the face. And second of all, can you treat the dog or cat with this product and put it in their food? Yes, but you have to break up the capsules in a proportion of the size of the animal. So let's consider your dog is 50 pounds, then it'd be a half a capsule. It's 25 pounds, is going to be a quarter of a capsule. Now it's all blended so they get the full benefit of it, but you need to downsize it. If you have a dog that's smaller than 25 pounds, then you probably should talk to your vet about a product that's specialized for a dog that small, because we just don't want to overdo it with them. But you can put it in their food for them as well. The other things to keep in mind is gardenia and tea tree oil are great oils for your pets if you put it on the scruff of their neck so they can't lick it too much. But that will help get rid of all sorts of bugs that bother them on a regular basis, and you can take advantage of that. So it really is a neat product. Let's see if I go like this. The item number, if you want to know, is 20972, and it comes in our traditional white bottle with a green cap. This isn't the exact one because I don't even have any yet. I won't get mine up here until for about another week. I think my transfer is showing up, but it's pretty much at the main warehouse. It's in stock, and it's something that I really recommend for all of you to take advantage of. And so this month is male month. We get, in most of our houses, the women get every room except for the garage and maybe the basement. And so they get every month except for June, and we get to take claim for that one. And I wanted to talk about some of the challenges that men have in general and what we can do about it. Probably the most common one that people talk about is prostate problems. And they kind of come in two stages. You either have an enlarged prostate, or you can have prostate cancer, and we kind of go after them in two different directions. Prostate's one of those cancers that there's about 5 or 6 different varietals, and almost all of them grow very slowly. There is one strain out there though that is very aggressive in its growth. And just to give you an example, I had the one, and I was lucky. I had the 1 out of 5 that grow very fast, and they were estimating it was doubling in size every 3 to 4 months in my body. So I took a little more of an aggressive program because I was in my 50s when it happened. And I wanted to live to be at least in my 70s because that's what I am now. And I just soon stick around for a little bit longer. And we went about it more aggressively. But if you're showing signs of an enlarged prostate, which is discomfort down there, problems with urination and things like that, more information makes it available for you to make more intelligent decisions. And I'll still tell you to consult your healthcare professional. He may just take PSAs. I think anyone over the age of 35, it's a male, should take a PSA every year, no matter what, no matter how old they are. Former President Biden's learning that lesson the hard way because according to his wife, they were informed that once you reach the age of 70, you don't need to take it anymore. I think that philosophy is if it's the slow growing type, you'll probably die of something else first. But he is in stage 4 with prostate cancer right now and has to deal with that. And what that basically means, it's no longer in his prostate, it's also in the lymph nodes and bones in that area of his body. So he definitely has an uphill battle with this particular challenge. But so we break it into 2 sections, an enlarged prostate and then prostate cancer. And as advisors on nutritional products, we can't say that we can cure it. We can't say we can overcome it or any of that. But I will talk about some areas that you can go and get some research and then link it to some of our products so that you can do your own due diligence with all of that. The first thing that I recommend is we'll hold it up. It's called Osteo-fx. It has the most common ingredient that you'll see in almost all prostate products out there called sal palmetto. And it also has Pangea and some other nutrients in it, but it's designed to shrink a prostate. And in doing so, if you can shrink the size of the prostate, the chance of you growing cancer cells is strongly reduced. We also have it in the good herbs family. I would say that it's stronger, but it doesn't taste good. And the one thing I've learned over the years that men are much more willing to, I don't take the products because it tastes bad and I'll live with it or I'll stick my head in the sand. And so if you can't get them to take this one, then go back to this one. Now, I've heard Doc on lectures talk about when you're in your 50s, you should always take one of these. When you're in your, or excuse me, 40s, you should always take one of these. When you're in your 50s, you take 2. When you're in your 60s, you take 3. And when you're in your 70s, you take 4. And so that being said, it helps reduce it. AJ, did you have a question you want to toss out at me right off the bat?
I had a commentary, but I can wait.
Okay. So this is my favorite because I can get everyone to take a couple pills. This one will actually, if you have an extreme case, is more effective, but it's not the best tasting. The other thing is that dealing with men, and this is just because I'm an athletic trainer, they think if 2 pills is great, 4 is better, and 8 is even better than that, no matter what. Well, that might be okay with the Osteo-fx, but don't do that with the tinctures. This product line, the Good Herbs product line, this is all of their products, was designed for healthcare professionals to diagnose and treat in their office and recommend to their patients in their office. So this is already strong. So taking twice as much is not going to improve the performance of the product. Just take what it recommends. I want to say it's going to be 2 milliliters, which is a relatively small amount. It's a half a teaspoon. And I will tell you, put it in your mouth, swallow, and don't think about it. And, just remember when you were a child, your mom told you had to take cod liver oil, and that's exactly what you did. You put it in your mouth and didn't think about it, right? And so it's what I suggest. Now, let's say it's gone farther and you're suspecting because your PSA is moving around. PSA, which is a blood test looking for some particular hormones within your body, just because it's high doesn't mean you have prostate cancer. What they're really looking for is movement, upwards especially. And so getting just one is not the best way to do it. That's why you should start young, get it every year, so you get this track record of what's going on. So if you're, let's say you're 2, 2, 2, 2, 6, you then know you have a challenge and you can start looking at it. And if that's the case, I'm gonna go against the natural grains. I'm gonna tell you get a biopsy, and which is not a fun experience. They're gonna take 12 samples, and then they'll test it in those particular 12 areas of your prostate, and they'll look for cancer cells within those 12. Odds on favor, if you have cancer, they'll run into a cancer cell. And depending on how many zones you are, they'll rate it, and they'll be able to identify on what type of prostate cancer it is if you have it. And then you can determine what you can do. And I'll be the first person that says if you go to a biopsy and it's positive, don't say whatever you say you're the doctor. Go do your due diligence. Read about all the different options you have. If it's slow growing in your 80s, you may not take an option if you're only at stage 1. If you're like me, stage 4, then you want to do it. But there's so many new treatments that are coming out. Mine was 20 years ago. There was really only 2 or 3 methods, but now there's 4 or 5 that you can do, as well as just trying supplements to be beneficial. There is certain nutritional ingredients that seem to be effective. You can go to pubmed.gov, pudmed.gov, and that's the United States Library of Medicine. And you can put in prostate cancer and an ingredient like fucoid, for example, and read about what it says about it helping to reduce the speed of the cancer or otherwise. And it's in there. And we actually have a couple products that have it. Coincidentally, both kind of named the same, Fucoid and FucoidZ, which is one's a capsule, one's a liquid, obviously. This one has super juices in it, so it's very palatable, so you can't have that excuse. And one of the ladies that brought this to us, because this came from an outside company that became part of Longevity, actually had the men taking both forms. I can't answer really why, but she says it just seemed with her experience in the 10 years that they were having a thing. And so you may consider that as an option. Dr. Wallach used to do some research on various cancers, and prostate cancer was one of them. And he did a study in China where they had high levels of prostate cancer, and he increased their dosage to 250 micrograms of selenium and saw a decrease of cases showing up within this region. And he was actually published on that one. So if you go to pubmed.gov and you type in selenium and prostate cancer or just cancer, you'll find studies that he did years ago with Dr. Monlan in that. And they looked for areas in the world that were unusually high in a particular type of cancer, and then they go into that area and they did it. And he did it primarily with selenium, and zinc is also beneficial. The other thing that I tell people is read about what activating your white blood cells and getting them more active within your body, will it help with the cancer. And we have a product called RYL beta 550. If I'll hold it closer to my face so it's in focus, that does just exactly that. And typically in your body, only about a third of the white blood cells are active at any one given time. And so they help with infections and things like that. And if you were to increase that to 70% or more than doubling the number, that's beneficial to those. The other thing I'll tell you is that your male's prostate is a dirty organ. And if you live long enough, I'll almost guarantee that you'll get prostate cancer. Now, it may happen in your 50s, may happen in your 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or whatever, but it's just one of those things. And so, when men were only living to be 50 years old, prostate cancer a lot of the times never showed up during that period of time. But now that the average age is up in the upper 70s, low 80s, depending on where you are, it's showing up more and more. And so we just need to be a little more reactive. Take that 250 micrograms of selenium to prevent. Keep your eye on PSA. If it starts moving around and going up in an upward trend, then you might want to get a biopsy just to know what you're facing. Is there risks involved with the biopsy? The answer to that is yes, but not nearly as bad as if you have prostate cancer and you don't do anything about it. And so I think that you can do it. Can you go get different opinions? Absolutely. I tell you, if you're going to do your own research, you don't have to believe me. Please do your research and do it. But just remember, half the stuff on the internet's not true. So make sure you understand where the source comes from to make an intelligent decision on what to do. If you look at the natural way and it's on 15 different websites to do this, this, and this, and they're all exactly the same, odds on favor is a relatively good source. If it seems to be bizarre and you can only find one person that says it, then be careful on what you wish for. So that being said, for prostate cancer, I hope no one gets it. That's the best way I can do it. The other thing I'll tell you is if you have a spouse, keep her in the loop of what's going on, because it's decisions that you guys are going to make, and it'll affect her life too, just as if she has breast cancer. If she didn't share it with you, as a male, you'd be upset about the situation. You're a partner. It's a relationship. So please do that. The other thing that I usually get telephone calls on is men and hormone problems, just like women and hormone problems. And they seem to have challenges with their testosterone levels decreasing, as well as melatonin and other hormones that are within your body. And it's not unusual. The older you get, that the weaker those are. Studies show that usually in your 30s at some time, you'll start to lose. I apologize.
We couldn't hear it at all.
Oh, cool. I apologize for that. But anyways, that your levels of testosterone will start to decrease. You can usually tell it happens without getting a test, even though you can get a blood test. Just because you're not as strong as you do, your energy level isn't as much, your libido isn't as much. You just start to feel not as like you did in your 20s. Well, if you talk to someone and says, well, no one's going to feel like they're in their 20s. Well, that's probably because your hormones aren't really balanced. And so you can delay that by taking products that submit hormone balances within your system. And probably the one I like the better, I didn't bring it in here, is ZRadical to be beneficial with that product. Now, it's a combination of two different things. It's a combination of immortalium, which supports telomere health, and then hormone balancer for men, which obviously helps balance the hormones. We don't have a standalone product to raise your testosterone level. I really don't know why, but we've never gone down that angle, so I can't recommend something in that area. But I can tell you, by eating better foods, more green foods, by taking collagen and working out on a daily basis, at least 20 minutes worth of walking a day, that you're going to maintain bone structure and muscle tone much longer than if you sit in a chair, as I'm doing right now, staring at people on screens. So that being said, go for it. The other one too, I should say, is that with the good herb products, there is a male hormone. Hold it close to my face so it's in focus, maybe lean forward. And it has an herbal formula. All the good herb products are primarily herbal formulas, and it'll be beneficial. But also make sure you're taking the Mighty 90, whether it's the simplest form with Prohoba Omega and Ultra Body Toddy, or moving up to one of our Healthy Start packs. Just getting good basic nutrients is good, and stay away from the bad foods, which I'm sure you guys have all heard at 100 different times. But cola, alcohol, deep fried foods, excessive fat, especially when it's exposed to temperatures that turn it into rancid fat, and things like that. And so if you take care of yourself, you'll have a much happier life, and you can look at enjoying your 70s and 80s and 90s and maybe even 100. And that's what I hope for all of you. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about as far as that. I'm sure everyone always has questions. I know if AJ had a chance, he would have his little hand up, symbol shaking because he's got so many lined up. But why don't we open it up for questions and see where people want to go with this? Go, AJ.
AJ, go ahead.
I just have one question. Our friend Adrian Gold talks about
The
it's
Prohoba product for it.
It's called Prostate.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on Prostate?
So Prostate is the pollen that he really liked that comes out of Sweden. I've actually been to their facilities, and he did some studies with it and saw some positive results. You know, everyone has their preferences, right? So Corey designed that product. I designed this product. I should hold it with the label going forward. And so we all have our personal preferences. If you want to try, if this doesn't do anything for you, then try it. Or if you want to try the Prostate and it doesn't do anything for you, switch over to this one. It's okay, but everyone has their personal favorites.
I do use I have used Prostate on a number of occasions. And then the second one, when you're talking about testosterone, I use on a daily basis the Stay Balanced. What are your thoughts on that?
Yep, that could be beneficial. But I got a question for you. Have you, next time you take a series, and if you get free healthcare, have
Next time I take a series
of Prostate, Pro Balance. Take a testosterone test before you do it, and then go on it for a few months, and then take it and see if there's a difference, and try to keep everything else in your life about the same. Because I know you work out on a regular basis. I know you eat smart on a regular basis.
No,
I know.
I'm not Coach Rod. No.
No. Oh, everyone's got to do that. I just assumed. and eat the best foods, you know, and see if there's only one major change, and that's that Pro Balance, then yeah, go for it. And then recommend it to your friends. You know, it's kind of like the Stay Clear. I know it's going to work. I look at the ingredients and I just know that product's going to work if you do it right. And so with so many of our products, when we designed it, I know in most cases this is going to be effective with the prostate, but in testosterone in men, it's not 80% of the people. And so it's always interesting. And I don't believe in artificial testosterone for men either. So the shots and whatnot, I'm not a big fan of that either.
Well, apparently the Zero test is very popular for people who go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very extremely popular one for gym goers.
So there again, I'll ask two questions on that, and you'll probably understand this one. Is it going to the gym that made the difference, or was it the product that made the difference?
I think they were already going to the gym.
Okay.
And then they had the product introduced to them.
And so I'd also be interested to see when they start increasing their collagen levels and things like that. What is that going to do to their hormones when we come out with the collagen product?
A collagen product tied to hormonal health?
Yeah. Because if all of a sudden you start increasing muscle mass and things like that, and you're holding your muscle mass, you're going to go work out more because it's going to excite you. And I think working out is really important.
And I don't know, I may have missed it. Did you have anything to do with the formulation on the new para product?
No, but we used to have one a long time ago, and that was my design. And this one isn't much different. There's a couple different things that we added, but other than that, it's basically the same. And I don't know why I picked up the bottle because I don't have the bottle yet. This is the other product, but it looked more official, I guess. And so yes and no. But Steve and I have done a couple different products over the years, and this one just seems to be really strong.
Thank you.
But the
Thank
key
you.
is really taking it close to a full moon.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah.
I've been studying herbology and different things since like 1980 something. And every time somebody talks about doing a cleanse for years now, they always do it around the full moon. And I mean, I don't know what it is, but it makes them more active. But the moon affects so many things. It's really interesting to me. So did you have something to say about that part? Because I have questions.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, because I'm always curious what makes them move around more. Okay, so I have somebody in Zoom. Their name is Sam, and he is 60 years old, 158 pounds, and his PSA is 3. Says, I avoid 12 bad foods and daily intake BTT, EFA plus, glucogel, Osteo-fx, sweet and sweet ease. What YGY products can I add to get more of zinc, picolinate, and vitamin E? I don't get any beta sitosterol in my current protocol. Thanks, Sam from PA.
Well, he's getting it in his BTT.
Okay.
He could go and get the straight zinc product that we have. Zinc and more. What was the other thing?
Gonna add zinc and vitamin E.
It's kind of interesting. He doesn't think he's getting enough vitamin E. I wonder if he's not absorbing it well.
Maybe he just thinks he needs to take more than what's in the BTT and the other products.
Yeah. So here's my first thing.
I could see if you will unmute and maybe you can ask him. Sam, would you like to unmute and ask your question? There you go.
Hey, Sam, did you get a hair sample test or did you get a blood test?
Oh, Sam, if you're talking, we can't hear you. Try turning up your volume, or in the audio settings at the bottom of the screen next to the little microphone, you should be able to select whatever microphone you're using. So check that and then raise your hand.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Yeah, great. Thanks. Can't figure out how to get there's maybe here. There we go. Okay, got it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So why do you think you have low E and low zinc?
I was referencing Dr. Ben or Pharmacist Ben had a little post out about those 3 things, the vitamin E of 400 IU and 300 to 400 of beta sitosterol and 50 milligrams of zinc. So I was looking at some of the products I was taking and noticed that I didn't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't think they reached that level. And then I didn't know if Longevity had a beta sitosterol product or not. And I was just referencing what he had said in one of his short videos.
Okay. And you can call Ben doctor because he also has a PhD.
Okay.
And so I'm quickly looking because I don't want to misquote. Zinc immune support has 10 milligrams of zinc in it, but we have more than one. So let me do the other one and let it come up. And that's the zinc drops. If I can get it to come up, and let's see now, a dropper full has 5. So I'd probably go to the zinc immune. I don't know if you're getting the BTT and whatnot, you don't have to take like 5 of those pills, but you can increase it there. As far as the vitamin E, when people, in my experience, and when they don't think they're getting enough vitamin E that's already in the BTT, I wonder if they have a healthy gut. And so one of the things you may try to do just to see how your absorption going is to get some of the I-26 products,
Okay.
which kills the bad bacteria. Has anyone talked recently about I-26?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I-26 is derived from an egg membrane. You know, when you have a chicken egg and you break it open and there's that really thin
Yes.
layer that's always on the egg that you always peel off. It's actually derived from that. Chickens quite commonly have the same bacteria in their gut that we do as humans, but they've found a way to get rid of the bad bacteria. And so we found out if when you take the I-26, it's going to kill the bad bacteria, but not harm the good bacteria in your gut. So if you kind of think of the legal scales, right, and you have 50 billion cultures in you, and it's 25-25, good versus bad, you're kind of in the middle here. But how good does your absorption get if you can get rid of 25% or 50% of the bad bacteria and increase your good bacteria by 25 to 50%? And most
Okay.
people understand that taking a probiotic is a smart thing to do, pre and probiotics, and absolutely, but taking with them or just even stand alone for a few months, I-26 to get rid of the bad bacteria in your gut. There is no adverse side effects to it, period, unless you're allergic to chicken eggs, that it's a great way to absorb better all your nutrients, whether it's from your diet or from your nutritional products, and then you don't have to load yourself as much. So
Okay.
almost everybody that I bring into longevity, the first month, I put them on something that will improve their gut because everything costs money this day, and I want you to get the best bang. Yes, I want you to feel better if you feel bad, but the first thing I typically do is work on their gut for a month and get it healthy with pre and probiotics and I-26 and maybe some initial nutrients. And then after the first couple of months, when I think their gut's a lot healthier, then we'll start addressing everything else. Because if I give you, beyond Tangy Tangerine and glucogel and collagen and extra EFAs and all this, and your gut's not in good shape, it's just going to flush out of your system. And I
Okay.
don't want that. And so
Okay.
I'm a
And
big
do you
proponent
have
of
any comment
good.
on the, I've seen that advertised a lot in different areas for men's health, is the beta oil.
Yeah, I know we have it in some of their products, but now that it's over 200 products, I don't know which
Right.
one it's in.
Right, but just in,
What I will do is
yeah.
when I'm on next month, and Ruth Ellen can buzz the date off, but I have to look over at my calendar. I'll go through everything and find everything that's got it, and then we'll talk about it when I come on
Okay.
next month. Is that a good
Okay,
enough
great.
deal?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Yep, that'll be July 22nd.
Great.
Thank you, Sam.
All right.
Very good. And then Hattie has her hand up, so we're going to go to Hattie, and then I have a couple more questions from on Zoom, YouTube and some other platforms. So I'm going to ask you to unmute, Hattie.
Awesome. Good afternoon. I was getting ready to lower my hand because I was getting ready to lower my hand because my questions got confused. But in any event, there's one thing I just want you to clarify or to deepen my understanding. You say the prostate is a dirty organ. And instinctively, I said, well, God don't make nothing dirty, so there must be something to this. And I really want to understand what you mean by that.
So everything that goes out of your digestive system goes through the prostate. And our diet is crummy. Typical American diet is crummy. And the Europeans are catching up to us, and the Australians are catching up to us, and all that. And it's because that everything passes through there that it just has a chance to pick up fecal matter within the organ itself. And so if we can prevent urine and all the bacteria that's in there from going through, that's why I call it a dirty organ. Not that it's a bad organ, it's just like the pancreas or the gallbladder, they all have purposes. It's just that it seems like, we all know if we have a liver and we drink too much of it, it's going to wear out faster. I just know if you live long enough, a male prostate will wear out. Is that fair enough?
Oh, yes, that's gross. So you can't there's not a cleanse for the prostate. There's a cleanse for everything else.
Well, that's part of what Prostate-fx does is to reduce the size of the prostate so that you have free urination and things like that, and then eating a better diet. When I was young, I remember when we would go on picnics and whatnot, we had those paper plates that are divided into 3 sections, and one of them is like twice the size as the other 2. Do you remember that?
Yes, yes.
And we always put the meat or the chicken or whatever the main part in that section. Well, realistically, if you still keep with that idea, but that bigger section is all greens, fruits, and vegetables. And the smaller section is the protein. And then even the smaller section is the carbohydrates. And get more of your diet towards the Mediterranean style. Overall, healthy-wise, you'll be fine. The French have far less cancer than the Americans do. And this is just an example. And they still smoke a lot compared to the United States. How's that so? Well, we know that they drink wine and they get resveratrol from wine, but they also eat much more fruits and vegetables than we do. And they don't have nearly the big stores over there like we do over here. There are all those little farmer markets where you go out and you get that day's food and you consume that day food. You don't go to Costco and buy your 25-pound bag of lettuce leaf. It's just a more effective and better way of doing it. And if we can kind of take from the good, not to beat up Costco, I go to Costco, but to take advantage of that, you'll be healthier.
Okay. And so when you talked about the new
Paracleanse.
no, not even so much that the prostate one, because you said it was similar to the Good Herbs brand, but the Good Herbs is much stronger than Prostate-fx. Is that the one?
Prostate-fx.
Okay, so you don't have to take both. You just choose your preference.
Correct. And typically I start the men on this, and then if it doesn't increase the swelling of the Prostate-fx, we might go to the Good Herb formula, or we might go to the Prohoba formula.
Okay, and lastly, you mentioned that men should be taking like a beta glucan. You said RYL.
If they're showing signs of cancer, we're not supposed to diagnose, prescribe. I'm telling you, just so we won't get in trouble, go to PubMed.gov and start reading about it, and they may want to make a decision to do that. And if they do, this is the product. We have to abide by their rule because I don't have a PhD after my name.
Awesome. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Hattie. All right. AJ has his hand up.
All right, Richard, on an unrelated topic, you have a sign behind you that says longevity established April 15th, 1996.
Correct.
Explain to me why next year is the 30th anniversary.
No, next year we're celebrating the 30th anniversary, and that's the date we first started to ship products.
April 15th.
Yes. And so if you don't know the story, Doc and his wife and Steve and his wife and myself and my wife then, we were working for another company, and Doc actually owned a third of that company, and he wanted additional products, and they said, the company said, no, we're not going to do that. And we were all having dinner up in Portland, Oregon, and Doc was kvetching. If you know your Yiddish, you know what I'm saying. And my wife turned around and says, "Well, Richard has a degree in that. Why don't you just have him make it for you?" And Steve looked at me and Doc looked at me, and then all of a sudden here we started to come out with products. At that time, Doc's commissions were extremely high because 80% of the signups of the company were directly in his downline because he was going out lecturing all over the United States. And he was having rooms with 500 and 600 people in it, right? And doing his lecture, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. So he was growing the company by leaps and bounds. Well, the company decided that they didn't want to pay him commission anymore, and the easiest way to do that is just to fire him. And so the day they fired him, and this is December of 95, they fired Steve and Michelle, and they fired, Roxanne and myself. And so Doc came to us and says, "Well, I got all these lectures still set up, and I'm going to do the lectures, but I need you guys to get our own company going." And so Steve and Michelle moved down to San Diego, and Steve developed the comp plan and all that part. Michelle got all the staff. They found a facility that they could initially store it. And my job was to come up with about the first 18 products to sell and to find the vendors to make it for us and to meet the specs to go in front of Doc. And then back then it was Dr. Edwin Dubois and Dr. Gerhard Schrauzer, and justify all the formulas that I came up with, which was kind of an interesting experience for me. I felt like I was getting a master's and was in front of my board of trustees telling me what I was nuts. But it was interesting. And we basically did it in 4 months, which is really unheard of. And we kind of shocked the area on it. And yes, we did sue the first company for wrongful termination and all that kind of stuff. And by the time it went to arbitration, the arbitrator says, "You really don't have a case here because you guys have already started your own company and you can't show me damages because you're making more money now." And so what ended up happening is we just absorbed that company. We just put them out of business and they became our products. And so now products like Ultra Body Toddy are under our label. So there's the story on that. But yeah, April 15th is when the first product started to go out.
So all of the Ultra products were the legacy pre-longevity products.
Yeah, the Total Body Toddy, the Ultra Body Toddy, Kids Toddy, De-Stress, that group was originally a company. We basically sued them, took them out of business, and they became part of us because they couldn't pay us.
Richard, we learn so much every time you're on.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the time that I get a Steve Wallach beep on my bat phone, so to speak, and he says, "What are you talking about that stuff for?" But
That's funny. That's funny. That's a very interesting story. Thank you for sharing that. So, and then Phyllis has her hand up. So we're going to go to Phyllis. Thank you, Phyllis. Let me add you. Thank you so much.
And Phyllis remembers the pre-longevity days.
I think we actually came on board right at the start of the new of longevity, but I do remember those days well. So Miriam has a question. Can the Paraclear be taken even if you don't think you have parasites, kind of like insurance? And part 2 of the question is, how often would you repeat that 2-month process of taking the Paraclear?
Can you? Yes, but I'd probably still do it in the 10-minute windows, or not 10-minute windows, 10-day windows around the full moon, 5 days before and 5 days after.
Right.
And I wouldn't go over 1 capsule a day.
Okay, 1 capsule a day, 10 days before and after the full moon.
Right. And then 2 months, and then I probably take 3 or 4 months off. And then you do 2 months again if you think you still have the parasites.
So it works well as a preventative, in other words.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Good seeing you.
Good seeing you too.
Okay. All right. I forgot to ask you, do you have a hard stop?
Oh, 10 minutes or so.
Okay. All right, because I have a couple questions and Keely has her hand up. So I just want to make sure to get to Cynthia, I believe on YouTube, says, I have a friend who had prostate surgery, and since then he has been wearing Depends because his urine is just flowing incessantly. Anything can be done. Sounds awful.
Probably not. There is on the market that we don't have some bladder products that might be beneficial to her. Oh, just to kind of fill people in. In surgery, when they remove it, there's a major nerve that goes through the prostate. And then when a male has two sphincters in that part of his body that helps him control urinary flow, the first sphincter, once the urine's strong enough that it goes through, tells your brain that you need to go to the restroom. And your second sphincter stops it until you get there. So if you remove one, then that's why he has the problem with urination. Some of the times when they do the surgery method, they hit that particular situation because of what's around there and remove it. And then, yes, is there anything that can actually stop it? No, I'm not that I'm aware of stopping it. There is some products out there that will ease the flow a little bit, and he just has to kind of do his due diligence on that one.
Okay. Thank you. And then, where'd my thing go? All right. And then Charmaine is, okay, I think you just answered Charmaine's question.
Is it Charmaine Murphy?
Wait, I think she's using it. It's on YouTube. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, YouTube. So I'm not sure because they use different, not always there.
If it's Char Murphy, hello.
I don't think it is because it says if someone already had prostate removed, how can they manage that aspect? And that was from around 345. So I guess that could, I think.
So Kegel exercises, and I think almost all women know about Kegel exercise. Well, men can do it too. And if they get their muscles stronger in that part of their body, that will help in some way. Will it stop it? No. But if you can reduce the amount of Depends to 3 a day down to 1 a day, that would probably make life a little more pleasant for them. And so just the core exercises and things like that, and just working out, you can turn out to do Kegel exercises anywhere because it's just kind of tightening and hold the tightening of the certain muscles and then relaxing and just repeat that process.
Okay. And the Bruce commented at 335, ultimate microbiome or ultimate enzymes. If a customer is taking the 90 and trying to save money, what 1 or 2 products should I recommend for a gut health secret sauce?
I would, the first month I would go on I-26, then after that switch over to the microbiome.
Okay, microbiome.
So microbiome has a half dose of I-26 plus enzymes and probiotics. And so I would go after the bad bacteria, and then I would go back to something that will maintain.
Okay. I believe it also has lion's mane in it. Wonderful. All right. So Keely, if you could unmute yourself, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Hi, Richard. How are you, dear?
I'm doing well.
I'm going to go back to the subject at hand because, I'm like a purist when it comes to Dr. Wallach. I had 3 or 4 clients that had prostate cancer, 2 of which went through a surgery and 2 of which did not, because we were really sort of hunkering down. And Doc did the original 2 protocols. And that was, he said, look, he goes, take a step back because prostate cancer is not a genetic disease and it's not inevitable. He says a consequence of aging. He said, basically, this is a deficiency in the body that can be addressed. And he also went off on the PSA test is a disaster, that 98% of it was basically a false positive, which is why those two individuals did not have their surgery. One went from 10.6 down to the range of 3 and has maintained now for almost 2 years. The other one was at about an 8.9 and is sitting right now at about, I think it's 3.5. So those are real successes. On the other end, my one client who had the surgery has had the leaking problem, and with the Kegel exercises and then with the additional protocol of rebuilding, with the glucogel, the collagen, the MSM, whatever, he was able to recover the fact that he no longer leaks. So that was really a protocol that Doc had given me over 2 years ago. I'll
reach out to Doc before next month and ask him from a biochemistry thing, and I'm a guy that gets into that. I don't know how MSM would improve or enhance. Collagen is just going to help with the flexibility of his connective tissue, so I can see that argument. But the MSM, I don't understand. So I'll try to reach out to him and get an answer on that.
Okay. And then the other thing is that when we were talking about the biopsies, Doc said, look, if you do a biopsy, he says, that's really releasing, the prostaglandin. And he goes, he was really, how Doc is. He's a purist. And so he's like, you really need to consider what the side effects of that are. And I just shared that with my clients. And that's how the other two made a decision, not to have that surgery, recognizing the doctors were telling them they wanted to cut it out and cut it off. So I just share that, with 4 different clients, obviously the majority of them are having positive outcomes. The other individual has some heart issues now as a result, I guess he is told, of having part of that surgery and the release of the prostaglandins. So just a different perspective to sort of hold out the whole thing.
Okay.
Thank you, Keely.
You bet. Thank you for.
All right. And AJ.
Hey, Richard, this is not my question. Not because I'm not curious about the question. It's just not my question. This is a question from a woman named Marilyn, not our Marilyn, another Marilyn, and asks Richard, do parasites cause cancer? Not my question.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this one. Can they? Yes. Do I think that everyone that gets parasites is going to get cancer? I don't think that's a true story. So I'll say it could, but it's not likely, and then I'll do more due diligence.
You have seen the things.
You get blood toxicity. Can blood toxicity cause cancer? Yes. There's some side effects that they do that creates problems, but I think that the parasites cause certain things in your body that if you don't take care of can down the road cause more problems. And that's kind of how I want to answer that one. I don't think there's a direct correlation to a particular parasite causing cancer in your body. But like ticks, do ticks cause Lyme disease, or is it the bacteria they put in your body causes Lyme disease? Because right now in the United States, East Coast, and I'm not East Coast, Lyme disease is a big deal.
It is.
Because the reason I guess she's asking the question is there is a contention online, if you read Facebook and Instagram and these things, that says that all cancer is caused by parasites.
That I don't believe. Not all. But there again, if they poison your blood, are you going to have problems? Yes.
Thank you, AJ.
I don't think there's an absolute. AJ. I think you and I can eat the same food, work out the same time, spend the same amount of quality time recreation, the same amount of quality time working, and different things are going to happen to us because we're all different. And this given absolute, like everyone that has a parasite is going to have cancer, or anyone that got cancer has parasites. I don't know if I agree with that just because it's an absolute.
I agree with you. Because you never know what's going to happen to anyone. All right. So I do have a comment made by one of our YouTube listeners or viewers, I should say. Thank you. Hunter. And this goes back a little bit. It says, I think the difference is they are eating real food and we're eating Captain Crunch. I think when you were talking about other countries not getting cancer as much, I've actually heard testimonials from people resolving their cancer through fasting and eating only grass-fed organic beef. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that, I know it does help people if they eat healthy and they change their diets, that it can, the body is an amazing organism.
Absolutely. And just to kind of go on that thing, I'm not a fan of glycosin, which is what makes Rebound work. And in Europe, it's been banned because it's a carcinogen. We've already talking about that. And they don't require it. And I really think they should. But so much of our wheat in the United States, they use Rebound to control the weeds in the wheat field, that the flour has the chemical in it. But yet they don't require the mills to test it and measure it and say which one. You actually have, there's a few out there, and I know I'm going to get emails saying what are the few, so I have to look them up again, that that actually test it, and they get their wheat only from an organic, non-pesticide wheat field. And it's usually old strain to boot, and that they don't have it. But the main ones, the big brands that you can think of that you see in every store, and I'll even toss out two brand names that I really shouldn't. King Arthur, Pillsbury, Doughboy, Gold Medal, they all do. And even Bob's Red Mill, which is kind of famous on the West Coast, does. I just picked your favorite, didn't I? As she shakes her head. And I just wish that they would allow, if you're going to have all these rules with nutritional products on what's on the label and being fully transparent, why can't they do it with the food? Well, that's because there's 4 major companies that control 80% of what we eat, and they don't want it, and they have enough power in Congress to block it.
Yeah, they should put every single thing that's in our food.
Because it isn't a hard test to do.
It's
not like you have to hire a PhD to do it.
No, it's not. And I was just gonna say, I used to love Dr. Pepper, but it's got antifreeze ingredients. Richard, I don't think I've had even like a 7-Up, any kind of soda, in probably 8 or 9 years.
Oh.
I have not drank any soda. Every once in a while, I'll have like a seltzer water, but it's like usually if I have an upset tummy or something. But I don't even like the way it makes my body feel, because the bubbles, they make your belly bloat. It's awful. But King Arthur is a flour that I use when I would make gluten-free sourdough bread. And you said that one. And then when you said Red Mill, I'm like, what other options do we have? But that's a whole other topic. Albert has his hand up, so we'll go to Albert, because I know you said you only had a few extra minutes. So Albert.
Hi there, Richard. I just wanted to ask, you mentioned Rebound.
You're breaking up on me.
I think you were meaning to say Roundup. Am I right?
What did I say?
You said Rebound has it in
Rebound.
it.
Oh, no, Roundup.
You mean
Whoops.
Roundup?
Okay. So
I'll blame it on 71 years of life.
thank you, Albert. I was going to ask that question next. So thank you.
So it's
little
Roundup,
difference.
not Rebound.
Roundup, not Rebound. Say it, Richard. You
Good.
have to say it.
It's Roundup, not Rebound.
Okay. Thank you. Because we're going to get emails, you know. Thank you, Albert. You're super awesome. All right. So I don't see any more questions on my end. Hunter says we know radiation can cause it unless they're saying radiation causes parasites. And then he says, I think they're taking the whole parasite thing too far himself, which I agree. And then I hope you heard that right, that I said beef and not wheat. Yes, you did. And then Olga on YouTube, it says, I had Fanta once when I was a child, and that was it. No soda ever. Oh, kudos to you. I'm very proud of you for that. And Hattie has her hand up again. So it's 4:05 my time. You have a couple more minutes and then we'll do the wrap up, or do you need to end now?
Oh, well, let's let Hattie in there.
Okay, Hattie, if you could unmute.
You know, I think you should just give us one good example. Because all of those flowers you mentioned, one of them is one of mine too. So if you could give me a good one, I sure would appreciate it, because I'm making a bunch of gluten-free bread this weekend.
Oh dear. Okay, so off top of my head, I'm gonna pull a blank, but I will find out for you, and I will email it to Ruth Ellen, and she can put it on the Facebook page, or she can mention it. Is Ben on tomorrow?
No, not tomorrow, Friday.
Well, maybe you'll mention it before he'll get going, because he'll know about it too. So, but I'll look it up and get you the message, and I'll give you 3 good ones.
Okay. I'll make sure to mention it before I guess tomorrow. I just need to confirm before I say that they're going to be on.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Hattie. I had the same question too. All right. So is there anything you'd like to say to wrap up?
Well, I will say that, there again, everybody's different. And so how these products work, there's no absolute, just like there's no absolute in anything in life, basically. And just try to enjoy it as best we can and talk to people, because I think communicating with people is as important as anything else health-wise. If you lock yourself in your house, you won't particularly have a happy life. So get out there and enjoy life.
Yes, I agree. I agree very much. All right, if I could get my co-hosts to come up, then we'll wrap up. And while they're coming on, I'd just like to say that thank you so much, Richard. You are always amazing, and I appreciate you very much. Also, this program was only meant for educational purposes only, not meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any diseases. And the information is pivotal, in my opinion, to everything. So thank you again. Also, this program is sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. And if you have any questions that didn't get answered, or you can email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com. And Richard, if you have questions for Richard, can I give your email address out?
Sure.
It's richard@youngjevity.com. So if you have a question specifically for him or want information of any kind that he can provide, please email him. And also, we have a team of holistic health coaches that are available to answer your call at 855-949-3377. And if you are working with someone and somebody referred you to this program, like I said earlier, please make sure to get back with them. All right. So thank you so much. And AJ, can you bring yourself on? Thank you. All right. So we have, to my right, we have Sherry, who is part of the tech crew. She helps me. We get on an hour earlier, and she helps me get everything set up so that it's ready to live stream. So thank you for all that you do, Sherry, because I really appreciate that. And then Marilyn, Miss Speedy Fingers, who is an amazing typist, and she's out there typing what is said and looking up definitions for things and posting and still keeping up. So thank you for that, Marilyn. And then we have Phyllis, who is an amazing co-host and platform monitor and got Doc on the radio and so many things. So thank you for all that you do. And then we have Albert, who's in South Africa, who of course answers the phone in the middle of the night when we're sleeping. So he is part of our phone team. He is our gatekeeper, and he is a true gentle man. Just love you. And then we have AJ, who is our digital marketing director, and he helps us get out onto different platforms and helps us with everything digital marketing. So thank you for that. And he is also part of our tech crew and helps get everything set up. So thank you, AJ. And I'm Ruth Ellen Sanchez. I am the executive production manager for Daily with Doc and Becca. And I just want to thank you all for joining us today. And also, I have to give a shout out to Becca Dukes, who's been on and just listening. Thank you so much. And she is away. And we can't wait for you to get back, as always, because I miss you. I like game night. We got to do more game night. All right, everybody. Have a beautiful day. And thank you so much. Again, Richard, I can't wait to see you again on the 22nd.
We will be there.
Bye for now, everybody.
This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in Pathology, Naturopathic Doctor.